Have you been wondering how complicated the ScriptE program is? Well, today I'm going to be showing you how to import a script, add revisions, characters, and participants in just a few minutes. So let's get started. So if you haven't already subscribed, just hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. Hi, I'm Monica, and I've been a script supervisor for over 34 years. Now, I've seen a lot of changes in the industry since I first started, and one of the biggest ones for our department has been that a lot of people have gone digital. Now, some of you may not have made the leap yet, which is probably why you're here, to see if maybe the ScriptE program is right for you or not. And I just want to say up front that I'm not here to bash any of the other programs, because there's a lot of really good ones out there. But this is the one that I happen to use, and I just want to give you an idea of how this program works and to see if maybe you can decide for yourself whether this is the right one for you or not. Okay, so let's get started. But before we do, I just want to let you know what you're looking at right now is my iPad. I use ScriptE for the iPad program. You can also use ScriptE for if you have a laptop or a Mac, but I just find that the iPad is just more convenient for me, and it's more portable, and I just more comfortable with it all the way around. But anyway, so this is what my iPad looks like. The formats that you can use to download into ScriptE, you can use either a PDF, you can use this a file from the Screenwriter program or from Final Draft. But most likely you're going to be using a PDF, and that's the most common, and it's just easy to use. So that's what we're going to be using. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to go into our ScriptE program. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is go up here to the Add button, and we are going to be putting in our file. These are some of these files that you're seeing right now are from shows that I've worked on before. We're going to be working in a script for the show This Is Us. That was one of my last shows that I worked on. So we're going to call this Is Us, and we're going to do it for episode 102. I'm going to call it Test, and then we're going to enter. And if you see up here in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see that the file was created. This Is Us 102 Test. And for those of you that don't know, usually on first season, they give it a 100 series, second season 200 series. So as you can see, this is from the first series, and we're going to call this, and this is from episode 102. Okay, and if you wanted to delete that file, all you have to do is just click on it and drag it down to the little trash can and just let it go, and it's going to ask you, do you want to delete this file? And you're going to say yes. So, and there you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this file back in because we're going to be working with it. So let's go back to 102 Test, enter, and again, there it is. So what we're going to do now, what we're going to do now is we're going to come up here to this this file, and if you notice over here on the left-hand side, it's blank because we have not downloaded the script into the program just yet. So we're going to go down here to revisions because we're going to add a revision. And again, it's blank here and it's blank here because we haven't downloaded any scripts yet. But we do want to have it open for when we do download it, because the program has to be open for when we download the script, because ScriptE needs to know which file do you want to put it in. So you have to have it open to let it know. So here we're going to go down to our mail. And here we have our scripts. And again, I'm going to be working on the white draft, which is this one here. And it's the production draft. Now you're going to see some of these other files down here, the concept meeting draft, the studio draft, the network draft. All of these drafts here are usually the drafts from pre-production, okay? And those don't have scene numbers. And those are not the ones that we're going to be downloading into ScriptE, because ScriptE will only accept a file that has been downloaded or a script that has scene numbers. So the first one that has scene numbers is going to be our white draft or production draft. Okay, so here we're going to click it open. And the first thing we want to do is find out what page the script actually starts on. So we have all these introductory pages, but in our script starts on page 6. And so that's very important, because when we go to download the script, and we're going to come up here to download it, we're going to put it in here. There's the ScriptE program. We're going to click it, and now it shows up in our program, because now we've downloaded it. Or I should say, it's in there to be ready to be downloaded. It's not until we add a revision here. We're going to add the revision here, and we're going to put that this is the white draft. And we're going to click on that particular file, and we're going to import it. So now this is telling us, and it's going to ask us here, on which page do you want the PDF to actually, for it to begin. And of course, we said page 6, so we're going to put page 6 in there, and then we're going to go down here to proceed. And that's just confirming what page it started on. And we're going to say yes. Based on the preview of the script, do you wish to proceed with this import? And we're going to say yes, proceed. And now if you look on the left side over here, it says the script has been imported. Okay. And let's just get rid of this right for now. You'll see on the left-hand side over here, it has all the scenes from that script. Okay, we can click on the first one just so you can see. And you'll see up here where it says white draft. That means that this is all scenes from the white draft. Now say we have a revision. Let's go down here to revisions again. We're going to click on that. And we want to have it open for when we add a revision. So now what we want to do now is come down here to our, we want to come, we want to come down here to our mail again. And let's get rid of that. And we're going to go to the pink draft, or actually the blue draft, because that is the next color in line. When you're working on episodic, each revision has a different color, for those of you who don't know. And the first one is usually the white, and the next one is usually the blue. And then of course pink comes in. So we're going to be downloading the blue draft, because that's our next revision. So we're going to click on here, and of course we want to double check to make sure what page and the script starts on. And it's usually, when you're working on a show, they usually start it on the same page all the time. So in our case, we're going to be working on page 6. So we're going to press done up here. Oops, no, we're not going to push done. We're going to go into the ScriptE program. So let's bring it over, and there it is. And now you see the blue draft. Okay, so now what we have to do, again, it's not in the program just yet, because we have to put it in there. So we have to add a revision, and we're going to put here blue draft. And we're going to come up here and select that blue draft, and then we're going to import it into the script. It's going to ask you again, what page does it start? And of course, we all know that it starts on the 6th page. And then we're going to go proceed. It's going to give you another preview. You're going to say, yes, that's okay. Based on the preview of the script, do you want to proceed? Yes, we want to proceed. Now it says that the script has been imported. So we say, okay, let's get this out of the way. And let's see if it actually did import. Okay, so we see over here, scene 1 has a white draft, 2, 3, 4, 5 have white drafts. Scene 6 is the first scene that does not have, is the blue draft. So in other words, the revision started on page 6. And then of course we didn't, 7 wasn't affected, 8 wasn't affected, 9 was affected because it's from the blue draft. So we know that after we do our breakdown on the entire script, we don't have to go through page scenes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we know those weren't touched. So we're only going to go straight to scene 6 to find out what were the changes there. Was it a page count, a dialogue difference? Was there a name change? So that's where we're going to, see what was going on. Now here in the slug, this is where you're going to actually put your breakdown, your one-liner of the script. Once you read the the script, you're going to put the description of what that scene is all about. And we're going to go over the breakdown in a whole other episode, because it's a lot more extensive, learning how to do a breakdown. What you can do for these revisions, and some people like to kind of get rid of some of these drafts here, these scripty files, because when you start getting a lot of them in there, some people start getting a little confused. So you can just slide it over to the left and just click the delete, and you can say yes or no. If you want to get that out of there. That's not a problem, because it's not going to affect the files that are already imported over here into the ScriptE program. As long as these are not touched, because these are the ones that you actually tell the program to go into the program. These you can delete if you'd like, or you can put them back in. That's not a problem. These over here on the left, however, once you've imported it, and you don't really want to get rid of them. Okay, so that is that. Now let's talk a little bit about characters. All right, down here in the characters, if you notice, number 1 character is Rebecca. And then it comes Kevin and Randall and Jack and Kate. Well, I know for sure that Jack is the number 1 character in the show. Whenever you see a call sheet from a show, all the characters have their own specific character, and I know that Jack is number 1 on the call sheet always, and then comes Rebecca, and then comes Kate, and so on. So what we want to do is, and the reason it's Rebecca's at the top here is because when ScriptE downloads a script into the program, it automatically puts them in order of appearance. So for example, in scene 1, the first person we see in the show is Rebecca. So that's why they put Rebecca first. So what we want to do is we want to rearrange those so that it'll show up on our breakdown as Jack being the number 1 and Rebecca being the number 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange it. We're going to click the rearrange button, and over here to the right, we're going to move Jack up to the number 1 spot. Rebecca is correct. She's in number 2. And then comes Kate. Kate is number 3. And to be very honest, I forget if it's Kevin and Randall, but anyway, each one has their own number. And the reason this is important to make sure that they're in the right spot, and let me click done here. And I'm going to click done here is I'm going to go down here to the reports, and I'm going to click on script reports. I'm going to do show the breakdown preview. And so here, up here in where it says characters, it's going to tell you what characters are in that particular scene. Okay, so if Rebecca was still in the number 1 spot, we would say, oh well, Rebecca's in that scene. Well, she is anyway. But if she wasn't in that scene, she would, we'd get a little confused, because whenever I see number 1, so I know that Jack is in that scene. And this is just to give you an idea. This is actually what your breakdown looks like when you first input the script into the program. Now, the things that automatically get put in there is the scene number and the location, which is interior Jack and Rebecca's kitchen, and it puts in the characters for you automatically. It does not put in the day-night breakdown, meaning is it's day 1, day 2, day 3, night 1, so on. That you're going to do when you do your breakdown. It doesn't put in the date of, and the date is the story date. So for example, if it's Christmas, you're going to put in your breakdown, the date is 12/25, 2000, whatever. And then the time is actually the time of day for that particular scene. So say it's 9 o'clock at night, you're going to put 9 p.m. Or if it's 5 a.m., you're going to put 5 a.m. So that when you look at this breakdown and somebody's asking you on set, what time was that scene? Well, you already have it in there because you put it in your breakdown. And then of course you have your 1/8 of a page over here next up, and ScriptE automatically puts the page count in there for you based on the way the ScriptE program works. Now you want to double check this with the AD. Excuse me, with the AD report, to make sure that those pages are correct so that you're both matching. And I'll show you a little bit on how we can change that later on. But just know that it will automatically put it in there based on, you know, what the ScriptE saw as the page count. And then the ERT is the estimated running time, okay? And ScriptE also gives it a general running time of how ScriptE feels that script is going to be, how long it's going to take to run that script. Or that scene, sorry. This, I always double check. It's pretty accurate, but there's going to be things in there, for example, Rebecca's washing dishes, or, you know, maybe a scene that doesn't have any dialogue at all, but it's and it's somewhat of a montage. You're going to say, okay, well, this isn't going to take 8 seconds. It's going to take more like 30 seconds because there's a lot going on here. So when you do your breakdown, your timing breakdown, you can change that as well. But again, ScriptE just puts in a general number in there in case, you know, just in general. Okay, so, but you can also take that out. So if I go in here to reports again, and I can actually, you know, either take out the characters, and I can take out the running time over here. And then I can see the preview. And so now you're going to get a script that has no estimated running time and no characters. So say you didn't want to put the characters in there for whatever reason, it doesn't, you know, mess up your breakdown. And the ERT, the reason many times you don't want to put that in there, because when you're sending out reports to production or whatever, and they haven't paid for a timing, you don't want to give them a timing. So this is why this would all be zeroed out, so that you're not giving them a free timing. Just so you know, timings are not part of your breakdown. So, so again, this is what ScriptE automatically puts in. And if you notice over here, these little asterisks on the scenes, if you remember, when we did the revision for the blue revision, scene 6 was the first thing that was revised. So when you have an asterisk there, that means that scene was revised, okay? Okay, so now let's go back to characters. So if you want to get these characters a little more dialed in, so for example, Jack. I know that Jack's real name is Milo Ventimiglia, and I'm not sure if that's the right spelling or not, but anyway, Milo. And then of course we know that Rebecca is Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore. And you don't have to put these names in here. That's up to you if you want, but it's great to put them because there's many times when you're on the set and you can't remember actors' names. I can't tell you how many times I've had the call sheet because I forget their names, and when you're having to go in and give them lines, or, you know, give them direction, you know, some kind of screen direction or something, not screen direction, but when you basically have to speak to the actors, you got to know their name, because and so this is a very easy way to if you type it in here. And sometimes when you have a lot of guest actors, the same thing. And if you put it in here, it's an easy, you know, you can look at it really quick and you don't have to go searching for it. Now, if you notice here in number 6, we have Kevin, Kate, and Randall, because there's a line in the script where all 3 of those characters are talking, and I happen to know that this one is this scene is when the kids are really small and the kids are talking over each other. So they put it all on one line for, you know, they're all saying good morning or something, but they say Kevin, Kate, and Randall. But we know that's not a character. So what we want to do is we want to delete that because it's not a character. So all we're going to do is we're going to slide it over to the left, and we're going to delete it, okay? Because each character has their own number, and we want to make sure that all these characters in the right corresponding number. And if you have to add a character for whatever reason, say they happen to, on the set, wanted to add somebody, you click on the add button here, you put actor or whoever, you know, the character's name is, and you say done, and of course there's your actor, your person in there. Okay, so say you get another script and you're working on episode 103 now. You don't want to have to keep on adding or rearranging these characters every single time you get a new script in. You don't have to worry about it so much when you're working on a feature or a different type of project. But when you're working on episodic, where you have the same characters every episode, you want to be able to just export the same character list that you've already created. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here to our character list, okay? And what we want to do is we want to export, okay, our list. So it says characters, export characters, list has been exported. You say, okay. So let's close this out. Now say we go to, let's close this episode out, and we're going to start a new episode. So let's start a new episode. Or I should say, this is us 103 test, okay? And we're going to open up that file over here. And of course, we don't have anything there, but this is where we want to add the characters first before, because when you add the file for this episode, it's going to do what it did before, where it's going to put all the characters in the order of appearance. So what we want to do is we want to export or import, in this case, the test 102 characters that this is the one that we had exported for our test 102 episode. And if you see there, now we've exported all of those files in the order that we put it in. So now when we import the script into the program, the new script into the program, it's going to keep them in this order, because now we're telling the file where these characters are, not the file telling us. Okay, so let's now get out of this file, and we're going to go back to our 102 file, okay, our original script. And now we're going to talk about participants. And to get to the participants list, you're going to come down here to production, and we're going to click on participants. And you're probably wondering, what are participants? Participants are the people that you're going to be sending these files to, okay, that are participating in this file distribution. So for example, the people you want to put on here are yourself. You want to put the people in production, the editors, normally what I do is I always call production and say, okay, who wants these files? Which files do they want? And what their email address is. And they'll give me a list, and I will basically put it in here, and then I don't have to worry about it. So when you get this, first thing you want to do is you want to add yourself. Okay, that's the first person you want to add. So you're going to put in here Monica, not you, but me, Monica Ochoa, and then you're going to go to type in I am the script supervisor, and you're going to click on here to script supervisor. And what's very important here is you want to put down your email address, because script supervisor on set.com, because scripting needs to know where they're going to be going to. Okay, so now here these little boxes are the ones that are the files that you're going to be sending, and I always like to tick the boxes of the files that I'm sending to people. So whenever they get the file, I'm going to get it as well, and that way I know that they're getting it. So here you want to click on first shot. You want to click on the first shot after lunch, which is very important. You want to get the camera wrap report. You want the partial progress report, which is basically your lunch report. Okay. You want your progress report, which is your log, or your progress report. You want your lined script, and you also want your editor's log. Okay. And you also want it, and you're the only one that's going to have this one click your ScriptE file, because you're the only one that has the ScriptE program. So be able to send it to yourself, so if something happens, you always have a backup. Okay, so those are the ones that you want to have clicked, and then you just say done. And then you have, that's your first participant, which is yourself. And then you're going to add all the other participants as well. And then what you want to do is you want to do the same thing here, because again, when you start your new episode in 103, you don't have to keep putting on all these participants every single time. So what you want to do is you want to export the file. Okay, it says that this particular file has been exported. You say okay, let's go to done. Now let's go over here. Let's close this out, and we're going to go over to test. And we're going to go over here, and again, here's the production, and you want to go to participants. It's blank. This is our episode 103, correct? And you want to import here. You want to import test 103, and there it is. Okay, so now you don't have to keep doing that every single time you have an episode. All right, which is very convenient, and you just it's all automatically done for you. But when you go into production has a whole other set of reports that we'll be sending off. You'll send off the progress report, the editor's log, facing line pages, and then it'll say to participants. When you click that button, it automatically sends them out to them, so you don't have to worry about it. So, which is great. I mean, when all you have to do is push a button at the end of the day and say, I'm done, you know, which is really, really very, it was mind-blowing to me when I first started working on this program, and I was able to do that. No more photocopying at the end of the day and sending them off, faxing. Oh my God, those days. Okay, well, that's how you add a script into the ScriptE program. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them as soon as I get them. Or you can also email me at monica@scriptsupervisoronset.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you there as well. So be sure to check out our next video, where I'm going to be going over how to create a breakdown in the ScriptE program. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.